Okay, happy Friday. This is a video for the new SIMGOT EA500LM. LM standing for lithium magnesium. It is the dome of the driver is white, and that's clearly where the LM is. The surrounding diaphragm, I'm not 100% sure exactly what that is. It looks to be slightly tinted, like a kind of like a carbon type or a derivative of that, but I can't say specifically because I don't know. If you're a subscriber to my channel, comment below. Qualified to get there are two sets going, and it'll go out in a couple days. You comment below this video, you're a subscriber. You also are a subscriber to the unboxing channel. Yes, I'm trying to drive some subscribers to that channel. I think a lot of people are going to like it over there because it's less rambling and more looking up close at the item. Comment on the most recent community one, because I was going to do a video, but I won't require that because you'd have to wait for that. And then in 2 days from right when I publish this, I'm going to pick two people. One will get the collaboration that never came out, the SIMGOT X HBB, the black and red one, that is gorgeous, and says X HBB on it. It's a beautiful set. The tuning, just so you know, is more bassy, like I like, and it's got a little less upper mids, like I like. Unfortunately, the LM is a clearly and audibly superior driver inside, and there's no point in a collaboration with a company that's absolutely on fire, and is releasing something in the same price range that's audibly better. It's embarrassing for me to even try to do that, so I'm out, and everybody's cool with that. It's time to move along from the idea. But you can get that set, and another person will get an LM probably before anybody else does, because this is my video for it, and if I need it in the future, I'll get another one. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna say out loud to SIMGOT, who will probably watch this video, if you could please provide me with one more set for a giveaway, I'd appreciate that, and I can give another person a fully wrapped up one. It would be great if possible, and I'd be happy to pay for that. Support good companies, so that could happen. So there are going to be two winners: my defunct collab, because it's not worthy, and the very worthy EA500 LM. Now let's talk about this. Let me put this up real quick. This is my summary. Single DD of excellent quality, resolution outstanding, no sharp notes, i.e. the OG 500, which on higher volume, I listen at 77 at the line, and then there's a dynamic range of like plus minus 15 dB, depending on the music that you're listening to. But if you turned up the EA500, it could become a little bit intense. The EA1000 was less so, and this is even more polished and refined than that set. I am convinced personally that this is a superior driver than what is inside the EA1000. And you say, well, why would they do that? Well, because what you lose in per unit profit, you gain in overall volume of sales. Anybody, that makes sense to anybody. And if you took business class in college, that makes very quick sense. You draw in people to the brand. They have a good experience with you at an affordable level. And then you start to offer things that are a little more pricey. They've built up trust. They've got good gear. And you are more likely to purchase something in the future. Makes a ton of sense. I think what they do is brilliant, and to this date, I'm very impressed with them. The set is very exceptional when it comes to pulling out detail. Let me continue. The price is, I believe, between 60 and 70. It's a single dynamic driver configuration. I would say the tuning, I put neutral in there, but I would say neutral warm, leans a little bit warm. It's got a little bit more sub bass than the EA1000. I don't think that that's actually something that you can pick up because there's not a lot of info below 20 hertz. A lot of stuff's produced with it removed to clean it up, the overall production. But that's its general tuning. I would say it warmish neutral. It's not a bright set where the EA1000 is borderline for me. I think this, despite what the graph says, doesn't really present itself in that way to me. The good would be the tuning. Bass quality, I'd also say driver quality. And then the not good would be, this is not for bass heads. Now let me switch the visualization and put up the other one. I think this is similar to the EA1000, obviously because of the tuning. I think this has a bass, mids, treble of 7s and a resolution of 8. I think this is great with stuff like Vivaldi. I think it's exceptional with that. People with classic libraries or jazz are absolutely going to fall in love with this set. Trust me, it's all about the engine. I say this a lot. Like the CPU on my computer is as good as the CPU. Everything else is just waiting on that, and the higher that performs, it doesn't. You don't want that to be the bottleneck. Driver in an earphone is literally the engine. That quality or lack thereof is directly related to the quality of the enjoyment that you receive from listening to said IMs. It is literally everything. And then there's the shell and all that other stuff, but the quality of the driver is everything. I think this does great with Vivaldi. I think it does really good with like Fleetwood Mac with male, female vocals. They sound excellent. I should stop here. Black Sabbath, Master Reality. Drummer and bassist playing kind of semi-solos at the same time. This is where a good example of what we call masking can occur, where one thing kind of cancels out the other because they exist at the same time and in the same part of the frequency response range. So one is covering up the other. With a planar, good planars, it's easier to perceive, E-stats planars, to separate and focus simply on the drummer or simply on the bassist. This dynamic driver in this probably $60 set is really good at doing this, and that's picking out just the bassist or just the drummer. It does, as I said, the vocals, male and female. Fleetwood Mac does it great. Madonna Take a Bow, which is a very produced, with the swirling and panning effect in it. It's absolutely excellent. Menace to Society, there's a track called You've Been Played by Smooth. If you listen to the very beginning, dun, 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 first 15 seconds, that sounds amazing on this. Where I would say would probably be simply okay would be, I probably have to go to the Doobie Brothers as opposed to Doobie Brothers. Let me just stay on around Dave Mason. Bass lines, prominent bass line intros. Down. Please Do Not Go by the Violent Femmes. That sounds a little, the snap is not quite what I would want on something like The Storm or the RN6 or the Camper. So it's not quite that level in its amplitude and energy. Its accuracy sounds fine, but the bass is just a teeny bit back. That's about the only thing that I can figure out to say without totally simping and saying, oh, this thing's awesome and everybody should grab it. That instrument steps out as being, Dire Straits. I should bring that up. Sultans of Swing, that's got a really prominent bass line. Dr. Dre, I should be really literally right there, BCDE. I won't waste your time. Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, that's a really great track for focusing on a bassist because he's really pinning down that track. Sounds great on this, but it's not quite exactly what I would want. But that's the only thing that I could think of. But that's exactly the same as I felt about the EA1000. People love that, and that's more money. So I would say this is probably the better investment of your finances. It does my library great. Nitpick would be bass guitars. Drums, for some reason, seem to sound fine, including because the glide is not, there's not a tuck there, which would impact the kick drum from Bonham, the iconic entry into When the Levee Breaks. That's not muted because it's not cut out. It's just slightly de-emphasized. It's actually on my target except for about 50 hertz and below, so it's just the bass guitars for some reason. It's not a big deal, but gotta find something, and that would be it. We've come a long way quickly. It's nice to see a company that 12 months ago I wouldn't have considered to recommend to you and say, you ought to check this company's stuff out, because I actually wouldn't have. And now a year later, it's one of the ones I'm looking forward to what's coming out. They got a Tribrid coming out. They've got another maybe kind of hybrid Tribrid. They've got another maybe dynamic driver, dynamic DD bass type set. So they got stuff coming. And so far, quality control has been excellent, and they're building around the driver, which I fell in love with from the beginning when I first heard the EA500, which was clearly in its price range at the time using an excellent driver. They continue to use that as their... This is about music replay. Good drivers is everything, and they're bringing it to a lower price points and making it available to a larger audience. And I'm sure they're making better than if they would do it the other way. But they win and you win. So that's kind of win-win. That's the way it should always be. You should feel like you got your money's worth, and they should feel like their endeavor into whatever range they're choosing to go into is a profitable and one to continue to expand into with updates and upgrades and improvements and some innovation, which you take profits and you invest in R&D essentially. So I'm glad that they continue to do what they finished 2023 doing, and that is kicking a lot of butt. So congrats to them. I think it's a great set. I would recommend it in its price point easily. And I can't think of a dynamic driver that's near its price that is competitive in its quality. Really good. Really, really, really good DD. I'm looking forward to people who love stuff like the EA1000 and stuff like that getting their ears on this. Really good job. And that's it. Don't forget to comment below. 2 people coming up. One's going to get the collab that simply isn't worthy. And the other's going to get a LM, the one that's right there. And I'm out. You guys have a great weekend. And now I'm really out.